Put you on. All right, y'all. We're back. Twins today.
Twins.
LFTD represent.
Hey.
Live for the dream.
Stand up.
If you don't know, now you know.
Now you know.
Here we are, coming to you live. Recording, that is, of the next week of programming here. Okay? So, let's see. Last week, so now we're in the heat of this build phase right now. So, last week was build prep, or this week we're currently in recording this. Next week of programming, we're going to be going into a build peak phase. So this is year 4.
Okay. Do you have anything you want to tell them, like any announcements or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, really the main thing is if you haven't signed up for the meet already, which I can see who signed up. If you haven't signed up for the meet already, go and sign up for that, because I'd imagine once like the sanction gets put through and more and more people find out about it, it's going to start like people are going to be rolling in there pretty fast. So get in there, get your spot, and if you have any questions about that, obviously hit us up. We'll help you out. And then all of like everybody watching this, all 2 of you, everybody watching this, I would really encourage you to sign up for the advanced weightlifting programming and technique seminar that's going to be going on September 1st. Because that'll kind of take a little bit of this, but break it down even deeper. And then you can really start to more and more so continue to apply it to your own individual circumstances. And then obviously we'll get into the more technical aspects of the lifts. I'll probably break down a little bit of the theory of things, and then we'll put it to the test, okay? So that would be, and if you are going to do that, I would actually recommend that instead of because the way we have it all timed up is that on that week, that'll be going into a rest week. So that'll actually be the end of the peak week, which is the end of next week. And we did that on purpose. So if you're going to do that, then instead of doing the max out on Saturday, you can then just shift it to do the max out on Sunday. Okay? And that can be your kind of the peak max out sesh. Okay? That's really the main stuff we got going on. T-shirts are going to be up real soon, waiting on the final designs. So yeah, just like a lot of stuff in the works, a lot of things rolling out. So just, stay tapped into the Life Collective, the Mighty Networks, and the space in there. And just, I'm continuously adding stuff and building it all out. So keep tapping in, keep going through the course. And yeah, let's just keep having fun, y'all. Oh, and last thing, I'm almost done with the next version of the athlete profile. So I'm pretty excited about, because I think maybe I touched on in the last video, but we're really going to start being able to build out our avatars. So I've kind of went through this whole process of defining, okay, what are the main, I call them life attributes, basically the main areas that we're going to be, like your character, the different aspects of your character, which you've got, if I remember off the top of my head, power, grace, service, novelty, coordination, communication, attraction, endurance, and flexibility. Okay? So basically those are kind of the things that I determine as like just all encompassing what it takes to be a fully actualized human being. And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be good at every single one of those things. But those are the different areas that you can choose how you want to show up, and ideally align it to with your own natural genius, your own natural inclination. But yeah, we won't, I'll probably make it, once I build that out, I'll probably end up doing a whole separate video on just that. But just know that that's coming down the pipe too. And yeah. All right, bro. Let's spark her up. Let's get her going. We got ready spaghetti today. We getting ready. Okay, we'll get her. Boom. Easy on him, man. All right, Dan.
It looks like it was good.
Woo. We ready? Oh shit, relight it.
Come on.
He wants that fresh spark. There it is. Oh, yeah. Like a champ. You do the honors this time, buddy.
All right, y'all.
Give the people what they need.
Here we go. Come on. Come on. Oh, bro, wrong side. Here we go. Come on. Get
Hey.
that. Get that.
Oh.
Get that. Get that. Oh.
The ready spaghetti.
Yeah.
All right, y'all.
Yeah.
Let's tap in. Let's dive in.
Let's get it.
Year 4, Q3. This will be week 8.
4.
And so I'm curious, maybe you can leave it in the notes or something, or, I'm just curious if you guys are starting to notice the subtle differences week to week. One of the common themes that I noticed this week from a lot of you guys was that even though you maybe felt a little more sore and just overall fatigued, you actually felt much stronger than last week, which is really cool. And I would anticipate that even going into this next week, you will notice a similar thing where maybe, yes, we have been going a little heavier, but the volume is starting to decrease. And so all the volume that we did to the prep phase and even the beginning of this build phase, by comparison now, is actually because your bodies are very adaptable. So your bodies we've adapted to that higher volume and density. And now the volume starting to go down, the intensity's going up. So now we kind of have this capacity that even though, yes, the weights are heavier, we have this basic foundation. So build prep and the average is...
build prep, excuse me. I said build peak.
Oh, no, you're right. My bad.
Oh.
You're right. And the average is 225.
Okay.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Heavy.
Yeah, so we're taking it up another notch this next week. But at least for me, there's not going to be the damn triple clean and jerks on the specific day. So I'm personally, I'm cool with that.
I don't know about you, but I'm really liking that for me.
But those are, they do work. As much as they suck, they are very beneficial. It's like, if you're doing, to a certain extent, if you're doing close to, 80% for a triple on the clean and jerk, then that overall capacity, especially like that third rep, when even though the weight is still the same, but you're much more fatigued, and so you're really having to just rely on the technique, that has a good transfer over to when you're actually doing heavier weights and it's just a single, being able to still tap into trusting the technique and just tossing that bitch on up there.
3, 3, 4.
Yes, sir. Cool. All right, we're starting to ramp it down and throttle up.
Okay, let's see.
In the peak phase, the micro phase of the phase.
That'd be 115.
Yep. Nice.
A little bit of rest. And that's just 113.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I'm also curious too. I guess when I'm saying curious of just maybe just feeling into your own personal experience of how these different phases and things are also correlating with the different aspects of your life. Because obviously, we purposefully build in the cycles and the rhythms of things, but there's so many different factors going on. Even people talk about like the moon and the different phases of the moon, and even kind of astrological things and how all of these things come into play. But personally, I've noticed that the more I've really just tuned in to my own natural rhythms and cycles of things, which a lot of times it actually ends up being pretty aligned with what's going on here. in these different phases of things. So just curious for you, if maybe not, maybe you have, if you've noticed any kind of differences with these different weeks and, this, like the different events in your life and maybe even different synchronicities. I know, again, for me personally, the more that I've been aligning myself to just this overall structure is really opened up for me to just trust in the process of things and just flow. And one of the feedbacks to know that you're on the right path, and that's very subjective, but it's a knowing, is like I find you'll notice more and more synchronicities where things they just happen, and it's just like you couldn't have planned it. You couldn't have anticipated for it. It just like, even something as simple as, people talk about like seeing different numbers and things like that, where you see kind of consecutive numbers and things of that nature, or even just different circumstances. But you start to notice more and more of those, and it's it's a feedback loop, because the more that you open yourself up to noticing those things, the more that there's RAS, reticular activating system, I think is what it's called. I learned from Tony Robbins, but it's kind of like there's a system in your biology, which is basically like what you choose to focus on, you see more of. Like if you've ever had the experience of you got a new car or something, and it's like a white car, or it's a certain kind of car, and then all of a sudden that's all you see is you start seeing those same colors and start seeing the same kinds of cars. It's that same kind of experience where if you kind of can train your focus on a certain thing, which we do it all the time, whether we realize it or not, but a lot of times we're doing it in kind of the negative aspect, where we're focusing on all the shit that we don't want, even if that focus is on trying to avoid those things, you're still putting our focus there. And then that system, reticular activating system, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, it gets activated, and we start to see more and more of the shit that we don't want. So you can use that same power for the positive and continuing to focus on the things that you do want. That's why it's important to have these practices, like these daily habits and rituals. Again, I get into a lot of this stuff in the course. So it's important to have these little practices of like a continual reminder of like, this is what I'm choosing to focus on. This is what I'm choosing to focus on. Trust the flow of surrender. Trust the flow of surrender. Whatever that is for you, that's where like these little affirmations, little mantras, I kind of think of it as having like a tool bag in your mind, where it's whenever kind of situation presents itself or whatever might come up, you can kind of just like, oh, all right, let me grab this tool real quick. And again, that can be like a mantra, that could be a breath work practice, that could be, reading a passage out of a book, literally anything, just something to like kind of act as a little bit of a focus shift and even a state shift. I guess quickly, one thing that I've been practicing, which really is like almost disorienting at times, it's called a headless state. And I won't get into all this. If you want to get deeper into this, read Finding Radical Wholeness by Ken Wilber. I'm currently studying that right now. But basically, it's being able to tap into a non-dual state, where essentially, like, if you look at something, if you just, whether it could even be this video right now, and then as you're looking at it, because a lot of times, like, if you actually think about it, you can never actually see your head. Like literally, you can maybe see like the little fleshy part of your nose, but you can never actually see your head unless you're seeing some kind of reflection of it, whether it's a mirror or some kind of image. And then once you recognize that aspect, you realize that, especially the way that we orient our consciousness, our conscious awareness of things, it's very, we kind of associate it with this space kind of behind our eyes, where that's how we're taking the world in. But if you look at something and you recognize that what you are looking at is actually you can become aware of it. It may seem like it's something out there, but you can actually look at the thing out there and then bring your awareness back to the space where your head is. And you realize, if you kind of, just move into the practice, that thing out there actually is originating from the space where you think your head is. And so in that sense, it's like you become headless. because everything that you're witnessing is actually arising in the space where you think your head is. So again, we won't get too deeper into that, but just a little practice for you. And again, just these little tools. It's just all these little tools in your little tool bag. All right? That's what I got. A mini lesson for you today. All right. Mr. Pro over here got her all taken care of.
I think this is right.
We got the average. I guess that would be the only. So like on the build, the specific day, where we keep like a build idea.
Gotcha.
But I think everything else we've got. So yeah, that's the peak or the prep is the prep. Rest is the rest. And then the prep or the accessory is a prep. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's the only one that I know because we do the prep over here, so sometimes it's confusing.
That's fine.
But yeah, I saw those triples. I was like, no,
not again.
nah, dog.
Not
Well,
again.
you got some heavy doubles.
Yeah.
We like that. Okay, so here we go. So we got our test day on Saturday. Let's pull up last week, and because we're in the same phase here, we're going to keep the same kind of format. Because again, it's we switch things up as far as the rep schemes and the volume and everything. But we do like to have the consistency for different lengths of time with the exercises that we do, because that's how you can really build momentum and objectively see the progress that you're making. So let's see, here we go. All right, so we've got 3 here. It's a weakness day. So we want to probably, we still want to do these back squats. Let's see, power snatch. Yeah, let's just we'll do a weak strength. So we'll do the power snatch. Because remember, as you're getting kind of less and less volume, you want to keep things more and more specific. If you've got less room to do stuff, you want to get more to the point with it. So yeah, so power snatch, and then we'll do jerk and back squat. Because last week we had 4 exercises. This week we have 3 exercises. So we're taking out the technique, which was the muscle snatch. And we're just going to go right to the power snatch. Okay? And we still want to keep those back squats in there, keep the strength up, and keep building those up. Get these legs ready for them maxes outs.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, easy enough. And now, specific day. So that one's another easy one. So, it's for us coaches, it's nice when the volume goes down because it's less thinking. So it's just specific because there's only 2 of them.
Oh yeah, you're right. I see. Specific.
Staying specific. Cool. So just 2 heavy doubles. We can do that. And kind of like I don't remember if I was mentioning it's on camera, off camera, but like seeing the differences week to week. So because this past week we had 3 triples, and even that in itself felt, at least personally for me, I guess I can't speak for everybody, but that in itself felt easier by comparison than the prior week, which was 4 triples. And then this going into this next week. So if you think about that, if we weren't to do that, if we were to just go from like, for instance, just as an example, like heavy singles and then going right into triples, those triples would feel way harder.
Way worse.
Than going through the process that we've gone through where we did quadruples and then we did the triples and now we're going to the double. So now by comparison, like the doubles are like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, well, let's do that all day.
Eat those.
All right. Strength. We just got one of these hoes. So we're just going to keep it really specific. We're going to do a front squat. So that's basically we maxing out the front squat. All right. And again, just like we said last week, this is the time to, we're getting specific with things. So break the belts out, whatever your normal thing is as far as competition goes, break it out and utilize the tools. Okay? And then rest up on the rest week. And the cool thing too is, even that we're going heavier because the volume is less now, you should actually start feeling more recovered because same thing, because of that comparison. It's like, if you were training for a marathon and you ran a marathon and then you just started like running a mile, by comparison, a mile is nothing. Like you're going for a walk. Even if you were like to sprint the mile and like go as fast as you can, it's still going to be easier because you've been training for a marathon. Versus if you weren't doing anything, if your standard default mode was sitting on the couch, and then you try to go even run a lap around the track, you're going to be dead.
Yeah.
So that's why we kind of like, that's the beauty of all these cycles and things, because we train, the prep phase, it's like, okay, here's your marathon. Even though it's not that heavy, there's more of a pace to it. But now by comparison, it's like we're maxing out and stuff, but it's way less. So it's like now we're sprinting the mile. And then we get into the peak phase, it's like now we're just doing a 100-meter dash. And so again, by comparison, it's like, yeah, we're going harder, but the amount of volume is way less. So by comparison, our bodies are like, oh, like no biggie. Like you're actually recovering and you should start to feel stronger and stronger and stronger. All right. Accessories, we only got 2. But let's do, because again, we want to keep in mind the specificity. So we did a power clean and a power jerk last time, which technically is a technique exercise. But I think let's just do that again. So we'll do a technique and then 1 accessory. So power clean, power jerk, and that's a 1 + 1. Yep, it's 2 sets. All right, and then this accessory, let's get a little creative here, because we haven't done accessories all week. So we still want to be mindful of the specificity. And so, last time we did a clean pull plus a box jump. But keep in mind that this is an accessory day. So again, technically we haven't done any kind of like pulling. I mean, obviously we're doing pulls when you actually do this, like literally when you do a snatch and a clean, like you're pulling.
Right.
But we haven't done any like specific pulls or hinges. We also haven't done any kind of specific lunging. We haven't done any kind of specific twisting either. And so let's get creative and see if there's a way that we can maybe encapsulate all of that. And we also haven't done any, because that's the thing too, when we're getting into this very specific phase, we still want to have like tiny little touches on the capacities that we've already developed, just like the overall like conditioning element too.
Right.
So, clean, yeah. So power. So we do the snatch. So yeah, maybe if we did a snatch pull with the snatch RDL. It's a tough one. Some lunges. Okay. Some lunges. So okay.
So you're looking for like a superset?
Yeah, we'll do some kind of superset.
Okay.
So I am kind of feeling like some walking lunges, because that's like the lunge pattern plus, get your heart rate up a little bit with that.
You could do a walking lunge with some rotation, like every step you take.
Okay.
Twist it.
Now we're
so
getting
like
the twist in.
a little bit
Okay,
of twist
I like the way we're thinking.
You could do those walking lunges with a twist, and then have, or alternatively, do a normal walking lunge, and then have some like those kettlebell like coil swings, right, with a little bit of rotation there. So whatever you prefer with that. And then you said you like the box jump. You want to keep more, like you want to keep that aspect in there as well.
Well, I think that one's, I wouldn't say is as important, because we're doing explosive shit.
Yeah.
All week.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that would be a little bit lower on the totem pole.
Okay. So I want to do like some snatch, like RDLs, like you said, superset it with like those lunges with the rotation.
Okay, perfect. Let's roll with it.
Perfect. So let's go.
So yeah, snatch pull, superset with walking lunges with rotation. You see, that's how we do that. So, you know, just as I guess another little teaching point and as a reminder, so look at the, you know, specificity first. And that's why we're doing the snatch pull. And also along with that, again, if you've got less room, then you kind of sometimes need to get a little bit more creative with combining different elements. So you got the snatch pull, which is specific, but it's a pull, it's a hinge, which again, we haven't directly touched, even though, yes, we are doing that kind of stuff with all the other movements. And then we've got the walking lunge with rotation, which now we're doing twist and lunge at the same time. So like, remember those primal pattern movements. So you got a squat, you got a lunge, you've got a push, you've got a pull, you've got a hinge, and you got twist, and you've got gait, which is walking, running, and sprinting. Okay? Yeah, the only thing I would say that we didn't necessarily touch, but again, like when you're doing snatch pulls and when you're doing like, even though we haven't specifically maybe touched like shoulders or upper back, you know, still, like we've talked about before, literally even doing a snatch and a power clean and a jerk is like you're still, you don't see any weightlifter, regardless of how many accessories they do, that has a really weak, like unmuscular back.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So I think this is great. Cool. So it's 2, 2, 4. So we're doing 2 exercises. So this would just be 1 set.
Okay.
So the snatch pulls, we will just do, let's see, a 2 would be if we doubled it. But I think those would be fine. So 2 by 2 or 1 by 2 out of 4. So just a heavy double. And then for the rotation, just to get a little bit extra, we can go with the time element of the 2, which would be 30 seconds to a minute and a half. So we'll just call that 100 feet. Okay. Because that would be about, you know, probably like a minute or so of work. Cool. Okay?
Perfect.
So again, just get creative here. It's an art. The test day is easy.
You know what time it is.
You know what time it is.
Oh, whoops. Wrong marker.
Whoa, buddy.
Whoa, come on, buddy.
Cut pinky. Max out, max out. Remember, this is what we're really, whoops, my bad, dude. This is what we're really going for here. This is what we're testing. So if these are going up, I mean, honestly, regardless of what else you're doing something right.
And on that, there will be really weird situations where like it feels like the shit you're doing in the first part of the week is like it's like those numbers maybe are the same or they're not going up. You'll get to test day and you'll be like, what? And if it goes great, right? And sometimes there'll be times it's the opposite, where the accessory movements and the other drills that we do are going well, and the test days maybe like a little. You have to just trust the ebb and the flow, like life, like everything. It's a give and take. Sometimes 2 steps forward, 1 step back, whatever. But it's a long game. To be in this and to see progress over a long period of time is trusting the flow of like shit going up and down, right? Like, but of course, in general, if you stick to the principles, trust the phases, right? Trust what we're doing overall, you should see progress, right? But just know it can come in different forms. It can come in the form of like you feeling stronger so your weight feels lighter. Come in the form of your technique feeling tighter so like the timing is better. You can under the bar a little faster. You're extending a little more quickly. So just know that all this together, again, like you said, any more than we're trying to measure any specific metrics of the lift is your total going up? Like, is your total going up? And that is the number one thing we're testing. So just keep those things in mind. Day by day might change depending on how your life is going, how your emotions are, how you've been eating, because shit happens, like life happens, guys. But just overall trusting the big picture that like I'm doing the best I can overall. And like, if I keep doing this, I will see progress with time. So just trust that. Like, it's nothing worth obtaining happens quick. Nothing that is worth gaining will be easy. If it's easy, it's probably not worth it. So just know that it's a long game we're playing.
Beautiful. Resty.
All right, resty. Resty for you besties.
All right,
Boop.
there it is, y'all. And by the way, all the other shit he's talking about, that's what we get into on the free course, okay? If you want to optimize all the other stuff, I'm going to keep reminding you. So here we are, right on time.